My name is Richard Egobamie Imafidon. I am going to be presenting on a business analysis on Google Inc. Let me quickly start with the introduction. Google is actually one of the leading companies as regards tech, the tech industry. They are into they produce a lot of services such as search engine, AI, operating systems. They are now even penetrating into the hardware market. Now they now have devices, they now have laptops and phones as well. So we are going to be looking at the micro and the macro level analysis. The micro level analysis talks about we focus on the internal factors such as their strengths, their weaknesses, and the internal resources. While in the macro level analysis, we address issues such as economic factors, political factor, and technological factor, and yeah, etc. So I'll quickly move to the SWOT analysis now, where we talk about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of Google. First of all, I'd like to talk about the strength. Google's strength is in dominance in search engine. Of course, we are all familiar with Google as search engine. I think when you mention Google anywhere, the first thing that comes to people's mind is the search engine, right? So that's their major strength, and also they're also leading the AI technology industry. So I'll move further to talk about the opportunities, which is the expansion in AI-driven sectors such as healthcare, further growth in cloud system, increasing adoption of smartphones and devices. Like I earlier mentioned, I'll go and talk about the weaknesses now. Depending on the advertisement and advertising revenue, like privacy concerns and regulatory scrutiny in various markets. So that's their weakness. Of course, yeah, they all usually have to rely so much on advertising revenue. Like okay, the only major their major source of revenue is usually from advertisement. So that's the weakness because if anything happens in the industry or in the advertisement industry and you are no longer able to advertise as much as you have always been able to advertise. So that's because that becomes a problem. I'll move further to talk about their threats. Their threat is actually competition from other big tech companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and the emerging AI-driven platforms and etc. So I'll move further to talk about the PESTA analysis. The PESTA analysis will talk about the factors and the key points. I'll just quickly highlight some of the factors and key points, which is political, economical, social, technological, environmental, and legal. So for the political, we have entrust scrutiny in the US and the EU, compliance with GDPR and other data privacy laws. We know what these laws means. A lot of people are even suing some of these big tech companies due to breach of data privacies and and all of that. So we talk about the economics, which I already mentioned before, which is vulnerability to global economic downturn affecting advertising revenues and what have you. So social is swift towards mobile first internet usage, increasing consumption demand for privacy and data protection. So I'll quickly move to the next one now. I've already talked about the technological, environmental, and legal. Let me quickly talk about the legals. The strong intellectual property portfolio, adherence to diverse legal and regulatory requirements across global operation. Yes, of course, this is always going to be a challenge because the legal requirements that applies in the United States, for instance, may not apply in the US. Sorry, may not apply in Europe. If it applies in Europe, it may not apply in Asia and Africa in some other regions. So the ability they have to find a way to accommodate the legal system of various regions where they operate, and by so doing they have to adjust their system to fit into the legal system in that region. So which means they have to build different they have to make some certain changes to their softwares, to their services, so that those softwares, those changes automatically trigger when someone is trying to use their service in that region. So let me quickly talk about Google's positions in tech industry now. Google Google has a very very strong position in tech industry. Okay, the Google leads in search engines, usually globally over 90% of the market. According to Start Countdown 2025, Google's position is further strengthened by their dominance in advertising, cloud computing, AI innovation. So yes, when we talk about their position in the tech industry, they have a very strong position. But that doesn't mean there's no room for improvement. Yes, that doesn't mean they don't have strong competitors. That doesn't mean they are not vulnerable to threats. We'll talk more about the competitor analysis now. First of all, we'll talk about Microsoft. Microsoft Microsoft competing with Google in AI and cloud computing. Microsoft Azure versus Microsoft Cloud. Yes, that's a very, very big competition right there. Because Microsoft Azure is now becoming very popular. A lot is gaining popularity globally. A lot of people are now beginning to use their products. They are now beginning to prefer their products over cloud for one reason or the other of the industry. So we also have Apple. Apple competes in hardware, ecosystem integration, impacting Google market and all that. Apple they also have an OS. Google also has an OS which is an Android. Apple also has an OS. Apple also has hardware as well. So they have a lot of products that Google also has. So they are very strong competitors in that regard. So let me quickly talk about the proposed strategy and improvement using the Ansoff matrix. First of all, um, so the market penetration, when we use the Ansoff matrix, we talk about the market penetration, product development, market development, and diversification. That is what, according to Ansoff matrix, you push similar product into the market, and then you develop your strategy that will to convince people to patronize you as against what they already know in the market. So we go to product development, and in the product development, you have to produce something that is not already in the market. You want your fridge to be able to realize, oh, okay, everything in the freezer is frozen. Then shut the freezer off to save energy. So these areas are areas that are still open for improvement. Diversification part is also another important part, which Google have already started. Just started producing hardwares like phones and PC. These are the things that they did not be doing before. So I believe there is still a room for improvement there. They can begin to produce more hardwares. Recommendation and diversification. AI is a driven AI driven healthcare. Google can leverage on the experience on AI revolution healthcare, improve diagnosis, patient outcome, autonomous vehicle. Google Waymo subsidiary is already a leader in autonomous driving technology. Expanding this can capture a growing market in personal transformation and logistics. Yes. So implementation timeline, maybe from year one to two, initial development of PAM 3.0 for healthcare and enhancement of Waymo's autonomous vehicles technology. Year three to four, we can have pilot program, AI driven healthcare. So when they break it like that, so they can have in year five, they can have full scale deployment of global expansion. So which is a very very good timeline. Technological investment in data center and high performance computing infrastructure. So I'll quickly move further to the conclusion. Google's future growth will be driven by its strategic initiative in AI and autonomous vehicle, coupled with investment in sustainability and privacy. Ongoing innovation and regulatory compliance are essential for maintaining its leadership position in the tech industry. Thank you very much.